Technically, that means by tomorrow, tomorrow the work should be done.
By the close of work tomorrow, we should be able to know that water has been restored. But then we were also making other plans with Ghana Water. Even though we did our best by informing most of the stakeholders involved, there may be some one or two shortfalls somewhere that people may not be able to stock enough as they can. So we were also thinking if their water tankers and other stuff would also be visiting some communities where, as and when we receive calls or complaints of water shortages and people suffering over there, we can also direct those water tankers to those areas to be able to serve the people between today and then by close of their works tomorrow.
Right, Richard, it's not just water shortage or the water problem in the Ashanti region. I know yesterday the Energy Minister, Abu Jinapor, was in the region following reports of power cuts. There are several homes that were plunged into doomsday, as many would like to put it. The minister mentioned that power problems in parts of the Ashanti region have been restored. PURC, what have you been taking on the ground?
Okay, I think, my brother, prior to the ministers coming to the region, I think the minister went to Parliament to address Parliament, and then he was confronted with these challenges facing the Ashanti region when it comes to the power. But then, as we all know, most of the MPs did lament a lot, especially with regards to Bosomefre, the Santiago North and the other areas. But what happened 3 days ago, causing the, let's say, majority of the areas in Kumasi to be in power outages was due to a problem from Gridco. That was the box supply point at Ahoma. So I think Jonathan earlier stated that there was one transformer fault over there that actually they tried working to fix it during the evening. But I think at around 10 p.m., I spoke with the general manager for sub-transmission for ECG, and he indicated that there were some challenges with resolving the issue. So he has instructed that together with Biko, they will be continuing their work the following day. That was yesterday. So then they had to shed load that very night to make sure that others are restored to power and others will sleep in darkness. And so they went by that. But as of yesterday, 3:30 p.m., he called to indicate that the problem has been resolved. Same time, we as a commission, taking the complaints from Parliament, we also were doing monitoring around the areas that the MPs lamented on power outages. For example, from the areas from Botesango, Inswaim, Bonsamso, and all those areas. We were there monitoring. We went to speak to some residents on the power crisis that has been confronting them within the past weeks. And my brother, it was very true. After that, we met with ECG and we are looking at other plans that we can employ to resolve the situation over there. So there is power crisis, and as we speak, power has been restored, unless there are other localized faults that need to be addressed, of which all our platforms and all media platforms in the region putting our numbers across that. If there are any localized faults in your area, you can also commission and then we'll make sure that ECG address those things immediately.
I know there were issues that resulted in the power being cut in those parts of the areas, and you have just mentioned that power has been restored to most of the affected communities. Is it sustainable for now?
Please, can you come again? I couldn't hear you.
I was saying that you mentioned that power has been restored to some of the communities or some of the homes that hitherto didn't have power. We understand that there was a problem and the minister had to come in, get the fuel and ensure that the power comes into the homes of people. From where you sit, is it sustainable for the homes that have power now? Are we going to see that continue for a very long time, or there are going to be any interruptions?
Okay, from where I sit, I can boldly say that the challenge has been fixed and power is supposed to be restored to each and everyone continuously as we progress. But these are technical faults, and technical faults may arise as and when. But we are also making sure that ECG and their engineers, together with people and the rest, will be able to act quickly to those technical challenges in order not for people to suffer the consequences that bad. So we are just hoping that any further technical challenges wouldn't be confronting the various institutions, that is PCG and GIFCO respectively. And then for now, there's power in the region, power is restored, everybody is enjoying. With the exception of probably those who may have technical faults that are supposed to be addressed by the district offices of the ECG respectively.
Right, Mr. Asiedu, finally, before I let you go, and I don't know if you're the right person to speak to on this, Baba Kamil, our Northern Regional Correspondent, was lamenting about some residents who, despite paying their water bills, they are not having water flow through their taps. I don't know in Kumasi if that has come to the notice of the PURC, and how have you been able to deal with situations like that?
Is that the situation in the Northern Region or Ashanti Region?
It was in the Ashanti Region. I don't know if we have some of them in the Ashanti Region as well.
Okay, so my brother, as we always say, I have always been speaking with you, and I always tell you that those complaints may come after when you are using those utilities, whether electricity, whether water. But then try and address your concerns to the district offices to also solve the problem. If for one way or the other, those places are not helping you in resolving the matter, you can always call on the PURC, and then we'll make sure that those problems are fixed.
Right, thank you very much indeed, Richard Asiedu, PRO for the PURC in the Ashanti region. We stay a little longer on the water situation, and we go to the Volta region, where Solomon Ahiagbe, a man in the region, is standing by to give us the latest updates regarding the water situation over there. Solomon, good morning, if you can hear me. Let's talk about the Volta region. You've heard about the situation in the Ashanti and Northern region. Is it different or similar to what we have learned so far?
Good morning. When it comes to the Volta region, there are parts of the region, districts that are going through the same challenge, having to do with the water situation in the region. Talking about the whole municipality, there are communities like Vorada village, which is within the whole municipality. We also have Sokode, Bogama, Sokode, Xtra, Akrofo, Sokode local part of Tanyebe and Taviefa. All these communities are going through the same challenge of the water situation. You realize that last month of February, the acting managing director of the Ghana Water Company came to the Volta region with the regional minister as at the time of the damage of the Peve Headworks pump, with the promise that they will ensure by March ending the pump is able to arrive to the country so that they repair and then fix a new pump for the region. But as it stands now, since the time he came and since the promises have been made till now, though water is flowing, but not all across the municipality and across the region. Away from the communities I mentioned, they indicate that there are times water will come about 2 days, then you experience the same water situation for more than 3 weeks. And as we speak, people within Sokode, Xtra, Sokode Bogame, Sokode Bagle, and Ando have been going through this situation for the past 3 weeks. And this is a situation just this morning alone. Some of them have had to get these tricycles to get them water. Away from that, people within Vorada village are also going through the same situation. For them, they mentioned that a tap will come on Saturday only. And that Saturday, if you are not able to fetch the water by close of a day, it means you will not get water again. So for the past 2 weeks, they are also going through the same situation. It is an appeal to the authorities to ensure that this water situation come to an end. Away from the communities I mentioned, let's move to Ziopi, which is also part of the region, that is Agotima, Ziopi, Kwete to be precise. They are also facing the same water situation. If listeners could remember, about 3 weeks now, there was an information that a tanker loaded with windside fell in one of the dams around Togo area, which resulted to the fact that the water has been contaminated allegedly. So from that time up to now, water situation became an issue at Agotima, Ziopi, Petwe as well. So across the region, residents are still going through this water situation. And away from the Agotima, Ziopi, we go to Adaklu district, Patove to be precise. I've been there just a week ago. Residents are calling because they realize that even the little water they have, which is a dam, has been contaminated by animal feces because cattle feed on the same water that they use. And the water that is from the Ghana Water Company too is not flowing, for which reason they are complaining bitterly. So when it comes to water situation across communities of the Volta region, this has been the issue, and they are still appealing that if something needs to be done, it should be done now so that it will not generate to any health challenges.
Thanks for painting that picture of the dire situation of the people of the Volta region in terms of the water shortages over there. Now, Solomon, just stay with me. Do we have an idea of how much persons have to expend in getting water every day?
This could for gallon. Some people are selling 10 Ghana cedis, depending on your location. That is, I mentioned earlier, Tricycle is supplying some of the people with water. So one of these gallons is sold at 10 Ghana cedis, depending on where you are. Some people are also getting it as low as 5 Ghana cedis, some 2 Ghana cedis, depending on where you are. So spending on water situation across the communities of the Volta region, I must say that it's very expensive, because if you happen to be about 10 in number in a household, it means that you have to spend much in getting water for your daily choices. People that are vendors, they are complaining bitterly because for them, they have to buy enough water, store it so that they can be able to use it to cook for the public. And if they don't get it, it becomes an issue. Some have had to stop cooking because they don't have enough water to cook for Ghanaian people to eat across the municipality of the Volta region. So if that be the case, they, according to them, will halt their businesses for now, so that if water comes in a large quantity for them, they will be able to resume back to their work. Some people I spoke with just yesterday, some water sellers mentioned a bar, which is a local bar also operating, mentioned the fact that they have to spend a lot of money buying water every day so that they can be able to cook for the public. And this is really affects them. Meanwhile, they have pipe in their various shops, and they are expecting that if the pipe is flowing, it will give them the ability to get enough water to prepare food for the public. So this situation, when it comes to the expenses on water, is huge.
If the taps are running, it would give them the opportunity to be able to run their business. Well, Solomon Ahiagle, a man in the Volta region, many thanks for painting a grim picture of the water situation in the Volta region. Thankfully, we have Stanley Marty. He's the Director of Communications for the Ghana Water Company Limited, and is joining us via phone. Stanley, very good morning to you and welcome to the ABS.
Yeah, good morning and thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. I'm sure you were on the phone patiently listening to our reporters. If you haven't, I can just run by you, a litany of complaints and reports they've given us this morning.
I think I heard him.
Okay.
And I would want us to take the issues one after the other.
Fantastic.
It hasn't been my style to debunk stories from media men, okay, but I think that the report from your reporter now is too exaggerated. And I think that it is not fair to the public itself, and it is not fair to the Ghana Water Limited. If he lacks knowledge on the situation, he should seek that knowledge from the appropriate quarters and he'll be told, other than painting such a dire situation, exaggerating on such a situation like that. It is not my style, and I'm very unhappy to listen to him this morning.
But Mr. Mate, he just painted the picture. Mr. Mate, if I can just come in quickly before you go ahead, please. Our reporter has just painted the picture of the situation in the Volta region. He's saying that water doesn't run through the taps constantly. How is that an exaggeration if that is what the people are battling with, and in situations where even people, vendors, do not even have enough water running through their tap to be able to go about their business? How is an exaggeration?
I heard him very well, but let me go on with my submission. For us in Ghana Water Company Limited, we've always been very transparent with our communications. We've always been very fair in our communications, very objective, okay? And I mean, ethically, we do what we have to do as a company. We have never hidden our challenges to the general public, okay? And what is the essence of being transparent? So that the people will understand and appreciate what the situation is, and then we all manage it, okay? But if after all this, you still paint a picture as if nothing is being done, as if the people are living in distress and all that, it is unfair to everybody. I'm not saying to the company alone, but to everybody. Now, let me go on with my submission. We all know that that we are unable to supply to meet the demand of the people. Now, what can we do to meet the demand of the population? Is by demand management. So that's what we call the rationing. So everybody understands and appreciates that, look, we need to share the water equitably so that everybody can have some. Okay? And in sharing, it's possible that some people are going to get more than others by way of their proximity to the source. So you could live in an area where you can't be bypassed to serve another area. So when area A is getting because of your location, even when the area B is also being served, you are all going to get the water. You understand? So this has been made clear to the general public and throughout the country wherever we have such challenges. So everybody understands and everybody is storing water because that is the only way that we can survive the situation. Now he mentions Agotime. Agotime is not supplied by Ghana Water. Agotime situation is a community water situation. Ghana Water does not serve the area. Okay. Meanwhile, the accident that happened in Togo is over a month now. Okay. Now the test by Environmental Protection Agency and all other agencies are proving that the situation is not dangerous. Okay. So if there's another situation why community water is unable to pump water to the people, then it is different. And let's get it like that. You understand what I'm saying?
No.
So in Ho, for instance, and in Adaklu, and wherever he's mentioned where we serve, there are some of the areas that are farther away from the source. And because of that, they may not get high pressures or they may not get regular flow because of the rationing program. So let us explain to the general public. When we are communicating, we are educating the general public. Okay, lamenting will not solve the problem. Let's just communicate the right information, and then the people will understand and then follow suit. Now, his submission is like agitating the public, which is unfair, and those are the things that I'm talking about.
Well, I take an except, Mr. Martin. Mr. Martin.
The challenges that we are going through. So let us see how best we can solve the problem. Let us see how best at least we can manage the situation for everybody to be comfortable, other than continuously lamenting. Thank you very much.
Well, Mr. Mate, if there are issues he thinks that he has to highlight as a station, we will do that. Now, you made mention of the fact that some of the people or some of the communities are not closer to the source. Are you blaming them that because they are not closer to the source, they'll not be able to get water?
Gentlemen, what I'm saying is that we are unable to meet the demand. Now, in a few weeks ago, there was a challenge where all our pumps broke down at the treatment plant. We had to work this thing all night long, 24/7, to ensure that all the pumps are fixed for people to have access to water continuously. Okay, so we did that. We promised them that we are going to have a short-term solution, a medium-term solution, and we also mentioned of the long-term solution. The short-term solution was solved. The medium-term solution is to change all the pumps to fix new ones. We're expecting this new pump in March, and then by April, everything will be fixed. Everything was brought to a fall for the public to understand and appreciate what the situation. Now, the long-term solution is the whole water supply expansion, okay, which is also in the pipeline. We have explained all these things to the people. We have explained all these things to the media. So my expectation was that in his presentation, he was going to narrate all these. Okay, so that everybody listening to us will understand, and then we'll all get up our loins to ensure that we are able to manage the situation and survive.
Mr. Mate, if you say that you're not able to meet demand, can you clarify that for me? Because the Ghana Water Company is making a lot of money, isn't it?
No, that is a wrong notion. Okay, and we keep saying that the tariffs that are given to us are not inadequate. They are not cost reflective. It's more of a social tariff than tariffs that will make us even break even and to make profit. Okay, so don't assume that we make money. Seek for the right information.
No, you're a profits-making organization. No.
Yes, so that is what I'm explaining to you. Okay. Now I've told you that our tariffs are not cost reflective. That is one. Now two, it is the government that is supposed to support us to expand our treatment plants. Now we all know the way the economy is. The plants are there, but the funding to do what we have to do isn't gone through yet. Now, whatever we have to do, we need to go through a certain process. We need to do due diligence and ensure that there's funding available. The contractors have the capacity to do this. Go through Parliament to Cabinet, back to Parliament to the Ministry of Finance, and all that. It's a process that takes over 2 years before construction can begin. Okay, so that is why we say it's a long-term solution to the problem, because now the population has exceeded the volumes of water that we produce. Now, the treatment plant that serves Ho was built somewhere in the 80s, somewhere in the 70s. The early time that it has seen some expansion was in 1983. Okay, now the population in the whole metropolis has grown and expanded beyond what the treatment plant can supply. The only way that we can solve this solution is to expand the project. The last time we were there, the managing director and then the minister spoke about the whole expansion project. And the fact that His Excellency the President was very much aware and really wants that project done. So we are doing everything possible to ensure that the whole expansion project begins as early as possible, so that we can solve the problem in Ho. And it is not only in Ho, we have similar challenges throughout the country where we need to meet the demand of the population by expanding. We need to distribute, government needs to distribute the little resources equitably. Okay, and that is what everybody is working out for. Okay, so let us do our thing the way. Let us be fair to the people by giving them the right information. Then they can appreciate what is going on, and then we all manage the situation and move on.
Mr. Mante, I can tell you that was the right information we're given. The tangent on which you're going, making it seem as a reporter was given false information, I don't think that's fair. Anyway, let's move on. The community.
If you say this one, then I don't think you want to educate the public. Okay. If you say what you're saying, it means you are not ready to educate the public.
No, but if water is not running through the taps of people, and we think we have to report it to get the Ghana Water Company Limited fix it, we will do that, Mr. Martin.
There are reasons why water is not running through the taps for people. Let them know the reasons why the water is not flowing. Then they will appreciate the situation. But if you don't tell them that and you are lamenting with them, you are not helping the people.
Well, these problems are not new, Mr. Marty, if you can bear me out. These problems that our reporter talked about are not new. They are not new.
Let us follow due diligence. Let us do the right thing. Let us be very transparent to the people. Let us be fair to the people. Let's be objective in our reportage. Then the people will appreciate the work that we are doing. But if you don't do that, then you are agitating the public. There's a difference.
Mr. Martin, let's make progress here. Mr. Mate, let's make progress over here. There is one listener who lives in the Volta region, Vorok. In the Volta region exactly. The name is a bit mouthful. Now, he is asking that when are they going to get water running through their tap?
Your line is not clear. Can you repeat your question?
Stanley, can you hear me?
Repeat your question. Your line is not clear.
Well, we have one resident asking in the Volta region, in some of the areas that our reporter mentioned, when are they going to have water run through their taps?
Which area is this?
Vorodepe in the Volta region.
Which area is the person speaking from?
Voradepe. Voradep. Voradep.
You are unable to mention the word very well, so it becomes a bit difficult.
Voradep.
But please, I will entreat the customer to call a customer service center or visit the whole office, okay? And then he'll be given a rationing program for the area. And let us all heed to the rationing program. Let us store water. All we are saying is that we have a challenge in the system. Let us cultivate the habit or the culture of storing water so that in the event where water is not flowing, we just resort to our storage. But if expecting water to flow 24/7 in this current period, it is not possible. Okay, so please, if the people of Ho are listening to me, the Ghana Water Company Limited apologizes for the inconvenience being caused as a result of non-regular flow of water. But the only way we can solve this problem is to cultivate the culture of storing water. Let us all get some receptacles and store water, because every area receives water a minimum of 4 days in a week. So if you're able to store enough water, you could use that water, let's say, in the event when water is not flowing, until water flows again. When we have any challenge, we'll come to you again and explain the problems that we are facing, and then we'll do everything, work as seriously to ensure that we solve the problem for people to have access to water. But currently our situation is such that we can't be able to meet water flow 24/7. So please, everybody listening to me, we are pleading with you, we apologize. It is not supposed to be so, but development has not been able to go in tandem with the population, and because of reasons that we are all aware of. So let us manage the situation, let us sympathize the situation, let us all support each other so that we can all survive within this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mate. And the village I was talking about earlier, Voradep village around Mirage in Ho municipality. That was what the residents was talking about. But finally, before I let you go, and if you're on the line and you can still hear me, when we spoke to our Tamale correspondent, he was saying that water isn't running through their tap yet. They are getting rates from the Ghana Water Company Limited. Has that got to your attention as well?
You said the people of Tamale are not getting water, but they are getting what bills?
The water bills are coming through.
Okay. Thank you very much, and let me explain to you. Now, we bill our customers via their consumption, or as a result through their consumption, okay? And their consumption is recorded via our meter. So if water hasn't gone through your meter will not reach. Okay? If water goes through your meter will reach. Now, we have a social contract with our customers, so that every month we'll supply them a certain volume of water, and we will bill them at the end of the month on their consumption. Okay? Now, if water hasn't flowed through your line, your meter will read 0. But the contract that we have with you, we still have to serve you a bill. So we send you a bill that reads 0. If we send you a bill that reads more than 0 consumption, then it means water has gone through the pipeline, and you have to pay for it, no matter how small it is. Now, we also put onto our bill your previous arrears. So your current consumption is there, and then your previous arrears is also there. So if in a month your consumption is 0, your monthly consumption will reach 0, or your current consumption will reach 0. But your previous arrears will also be there, especially if you still owe. And that plus 0 will give you that amount. So if your previous account or your previous arrears is A or X, and your zero consumption is 0, your current bill will be X plus 0, which will be X. Am I making sense?
Mm.
And I hope everybody understands what I'm saying. So there is no way the Ghana Water will cheat anybody. Same way we don't want anybody to cheat us. Okay? In the whole municipality, it's the same situation between demand and supply. There's a long-term solution, which is the expansion of the Dalon treatment plant. Okay? And that is the Tamale Water Expansion Project. The salt was cut in 2019, but unfortunately, because of the economic situation, nothing has gone on. But we are still working seriously to ensure that the expansion of the Tamale Water Project comes on. Now, with the little water that is in the system, the only way we can solve it is just like the whole situation, demand management or rationing or sharing the water equitably so that everybody will have access to some. Now, the challenge within the Tamale Metropolis is as a result of illegal human activity. 1, illegal connection. 2, the illegal use of suction pumps. So if everybody is using suction and an inline suction pump, the pressure to which these inline suction pumps draw the water from the pipeline, how would we expect that more people or the greater population who do not have access to suction pumps, how do we expect them to get to the water? Now we have a treatment plant. We have an overhead reservoir at Bagabaga. Bagabaga is a suburb of the Tamale Metropolis. Now we pump from Dalon through the Tamale municipality into that high-level reservoir, and then we release it by gravity, so it can go further onto the Yendi Road and the hospital area, and everybody in that area could get. Now, because of the human activities within the metropolis, it becomes very difficult for the pressures to build up to go into that reservoir for us to serve the people beyond. The other challenge is that most of them are proliferating our transmission lines to feed their cattle and to water their gardens and all that. When it so happens, we need to shut down and to repair these lines. Now, if we have to shut down almost once every week, how can we build on pressures for everybody to get? So these are the challenges that we are facing, and they are human activity. We are doing everything possible to ensure that these things are ceased.
Right.
Unfortunately, it becomes difficult.
Thank you very much.
Working with the military, we are working with the police to ensure that some of these things end. Then we can serve them and serve them very well. Other aspect,
just wrap up for me in 30 seconds, Mr. Mate, please.
So the other aspect within the whole metropolis is the destruction of our pipelines by contractors. Okay, so they're destroying most of our pipelines, and these pipelines are expensive. They are not even paying for us to repair them, and we have to use our own resources to have them repaired. Okay, it's a serious challenge, and we are working with the Ministry of Highways so that some of these things will cease. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Stanley Mate. He's the Director of Communications for the Ghana Water Company Limited. And let me also just state that here on Asaase Radio, we do responsible journalism. And so if you heard our reporter talk about the situation in the Volta region, which Stanley Mate has said that he's exaggerated it, is neither here nor there. And we'll continue to shine the spotlight on issues plaguing our society. Well, that was that conversation on the water shortage in some parts of the country, Ashanti Northern Region, and of course the Volta region. We're taking a breather. We're back with yet another conversation. Don't go anywhere.
Asaase Radio. Accra 99.5. Cape Coast on 100.3. Kumasi on 98.5. In Tamale on 99.7. Asaase Radio. Asaase is the sound of sound. Asaase. Worldwide. Asaase. For the ladies. Asaase. Asaase Radio. I know what you're thinking. Baby, come give me something. The voice of our land. The girls that